Hello, welcome back. So today's video is all about my plant shop, and I figured I would go ahead and do a little vlog over the next few days. It's been a while since I filmed one of these. I think it's been a couple months at least. Definitely before I made this my shop room now. For those of you that are interested in seeing more behind the scenes and what I do exactly to run and manage this plant shop, stick around. It is Monday today. Normally it's a full packing day, but I didn't do a restock this past week because I was feeling a bit overwhelmed and I needed a little bit of a break. Although when you have a plant shop and you are running a business, you don't really get a break. I mean, you do, but you don't, because there's a million things that always need to be done. I do get a little bit of a break in the sense that I'm not having to pack as many plants on packing day. And then obviously I'm not prepping plants for the restock, like getting their photos taken and getting the listings done, which is a very time consuming process as well. So for a while there, I was doing restocks on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern time, my time, and I felt like I was getting enough emails, not weekly, but I was getting enough of them that I was kind of looking to change it up a bit, because normally when I set a restock date and time, there's more people on the site at that time, which overcrowds the site, and a lot of people try to add the same plants in their cart, and some people would get upset that the plant would disappear. I mean, understandably. And so also I wanted a little bit more flexibility for that particular week if I have a lot of stuff going on. Say I'm more focused on making plants that week, or I also film a lot of other YouTube content and not just around my plant shop. And if I'm having a busy week with other plant care and videos that I'm filming, I wanted just a little wiggle room so that it would work better for me as far as the restocks go. So I will say restocks will most likely be Thursday or Friday. It depends on the week. He is in his loving mood. Occasionally I might have to restock on Saturday, but if you're looking to find out exactly when I'm restocking, then if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, I would suggest signing up for that. And then I also started adding the restock day at the top of my website, so not exactly a set time, just the day, because my goal to do restocks randomly was to make a little less traffic on the site, you know, as well as free up a little bit of time for me. So I feel like that's been better. I do feel like traffic does pick up once the newsletter goes out. I feel like a lot of people get the email, they click onto my site, see what's available, and decide if they want to purchase or not. So I do think I want to keep up with Thursday or Friday restocks. Like for example, this week here, Thursday, it's actually our anniversary, so we are going out of town for the day, and I won't be doing any shop or plant care. So that's like an entire day that I'm not working, and so that's going to set me back a little bit. But normally most of the weeks I am here pretty much working every single day. So weeks like this, I am restocking on Friday instead of like a Thursday. As far as the restock time, it could be noon, it could be 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I would say those are the average times. But like I said, it does depend on what's going on. If I'm ready to go ahead and do the restock, then sometimes I just make them live whenever it's a good time, and I can continue on with my day if I have other filming and stuff that I'm doing, which I most likely am on Fridays and Thursdays. And so I can make the plants live, finish filming, and then check my email later. I usually am at the computer responding to emails and messages for at least an hour, hour and a half after the restock at some point, just to get back to people. So say the restock's on Friday, I am processing orders starting Sunday, so that doesn't give a lot of wiggle room for communication back and forth. So I start processing around noon on Sundays. And so if your order's already been processed, as far as I printed off your order, I've already packaged your order and taped it. Sometimes I don't print the shipping labels until later that night or the next morning, but if it's already been processed, then I can't change anything or add anything onto your order. So I am going to add or switch up my policy that kind of clarifies that my processing time starts around noon on Sunday, and so after that I can't make any changes to your order if it's already been like packaged up. My goal is to have more plants on the site, so between plant orders and some people order substrates, just substrates without plants, I could have anywhere from, depending on the number of plants, anywhere from like 30 upwards to 50 orders to package up, and that is a lot. So I'm usually working Sunday around noon through, I finish up around Monday like 4 or 5 p.m. So it's pretty much a 24-hour straight minus some sleeping time. I'm usually up late Mondays or Sundays and then getting up really early Monday morning. My last restock, I delayed shipping by an entire day because it was so hot here in Savannah. I didn't want to risk plants getting stuck somewhere in like 100+ degree temp, so I waited until Tuesday to ship. So things do come up like that, but I try to ship out on Monday, and that way all the orders are out and then I can focus on the next restock, because usually that evening I'll clean up because it's a huge mess in here, and then I also sometimes we'll start picking plants for the next restock, but Tuesday, the following day, I'm in here all day. I'm watering all the plants in here. I pick plants for the next restock and at least get that portion done. And then usually Wednesday, I will take their photos, get the plants labeled, and then start working on my listings. So if I'm doing a restock Thursday, that doesn't leave me with a lot of time to do other plant care stuff that I'm doing. So as far as other filming, other watering that I have to get done. I have set days that I water certain sections of my plants, but I have a massive plant collection, so I really do have to stay on somewhat of a schedule, because if something comes up and I'm not able to do stuff on a certain day that I normally do, I feel like it throws my entire week off. But I also know that sometimes I do have to slow down, and it's okay to take some time off because I'm only human and I need that time to not like burn out and stress myself out. So it is a lot of work having a shop, whether you ship out a lot of plants or a little bit of plants, it still is a lot of work behind the scenes. I grow everything out, so I'm constantly like potting up plants, checking plants, watering, propagating. I prefer to do it this way. I don't like order wholesale. That's just not something that I feel like would work for me, because I would have to get plants shipped to me, which I know would be costly if I ordered wholesale, and then I would still have to maintain and care for those plants. So I would rather buy a mother plant or keep a mother plant in my collection, care for it, and then propagate the mother plant to grow a bunch of little plants out. I feel like for me, that's just what I want to do and the way that I like growing, and I love being able to care for all these plants and grow them out. That's my favorite part. Other things I've been kind of thinking about as well, I am changing up the substrates the plants are being shipped in, and I'm changing up the pots as well. It's actually a huge mess in here. I'd cleaned it up a little bit. I spent the last couple of days trying to pot up a bunch of plants. I still have so much potting to do, and I ran out of pots. More is on the way, but I need those pots to get here so I can finish potting up. I thought I had more, but I guess I just went through them so quickly. And I'm changing the pots as well. So for the Hoyas, they're normally in like a little 3-ounce cup like this here, and I no longer want to use these, so I'm going to phase these out. I feel like they're just too small. And then I also use the clear pots like this. So I have 3-inch, which is the size. This is a 3-ounce cup, and then I also have a 4-inch and a 5-inch pot, depending on how big the plant is. But I feel like the 3-inch, it's a little bit too small. So I'm looking at a completely different pot. I was doing a little bit of research, and I came across some opaque pots that are white, because I feel like the white matches my aesthetic. It was either white or black. Or I could do green, but what I came across was white, and I really like them. 4-inch actually came already, but I'm waiting on the smaller size, so hopefully those will get here today. But I really like them. They're square instead of round. So for example, this is a 4-inch, and so this is the 4-inch. Although it looks bigger, it was labeled as a 4-inch on the website. I want to start using the opaque pots because I can buy more of these in bulk for the same price as these. And although I like clear pots for my personal collection to see roots, I feel like I sometimes get some algae growth, which I'm not a fan of because of the light that can penetrate through the clear. And so the substrate kind of gets dirty with algae, and I don't really like that. And also I feel like these are just, the smaller size especially, they're just drying out too quickly. And so that's why I want to change up the mix a little bit, make it just a tiny bit more moisture retentive and use the opaque pots. So yeah, I'm going to eventually phase these out and switch to using these. I really like the new substrate. I've been playing around with it a bit, and it does use, so normally I use tree fern and perlite and some other stuff in my propagation mix. It's not my aroid mix that I sell. So the new mix contains some coco coir, and it's really like fluffy, and the tree fern itself is, yeah, it's fluffy, but it's more wood pieces, like sticks. And the coco coir is just, I mix it with some tree fern and the other stuff that I add in there, and it's just, I really love the consistency of it. So far I'm really liking it. So yeah, I'm gonna phase out the regular mix and start using that. So that is enough jabbering. So I think what my plan is for today, it is almost 3:30 and I'm waiting on the Amazon order. I'm waiting on my pots to get here. So since I don't have my pots, I can't really pot up. I figured what I would do is get some plants ready for the restock. I already picked some plants out last week for this week's restock. I don't think this week's going to be a huge restock week, maybe 30 plants. But I do need to go through all the bins again in water, so I might pick a few more. We'll see. But I think what I'll do is, my goal is to have all the plants ready as far as picking them, having this nursery watered, and labeling them and getting their photos taken. I would like that to be done by end of day tomorrow. And I would also like to do some of the listings because, like I said, we're going to be leaving Thursday morning and being out all day. I also have some other filming to do for another YouTube video I would like to go ahead and work on this week as well. I think I'm just going to film a plant chores and do some stuff every day. And then I'll film again probably Friday, Saturday. We'll see how it goes. So these two shelves here are my restock shelves. I have this and this. Normally I like to do alocasia, Hoya, and some others like philodendron and stuff like that. And then I have some anthurium. So I have 2 monsteras left that I think I'm going to go ahead and list. I am going to be propagating a lot of monstera soon. I have this beautiful monstera aria. Look at this leaf. This is the new one. It's a half moon. The variegation takes a while to burn in, but this is going to be a beautiful leaf. And the first leaf was so pretty. And that's the original leaf that has a spot of browning. But it's already potted up into a 5-inch. And my aroid mix, look at those roots. So I feel like this guy is going to grow big in no time. So I don't have a price for this yet. I usually figure out pricings once I do the listing, and I usually do that very last. So, but for right now, I just label and then I put, you know, the plant name and a little sticker so I can, if I have multiples of the same one, I can differentiate them. But she is beautiful. And then I have one elbow left from the batch that I did a while ago, and it's going to be a beautiful monstera for somebody. This was the original leaf, and this was the first leaf, you guys. Look at that, how big that first leaf was. And this one again is potted up and rooted very well. Yeah, I can't wait to chop more elbows and stuff because I'm sad that these are my last two. I had so many props, but they all went to their new homes. I think that's it for monstera, although I did pull a obliqua and another esqueleto, obliqua and esqueleto, that I'll probably sell. Sometimes when I go through and pick plants, sometimes I put plants back if I change my mind. Like, maybe I want them to grow a little bit more. Like this one here, this is a Monstera Peru variegated. And so this new leaf, you can see the variegation, but it hasn't burned in yet. For alocasia this week, I still have to pick, I think, some alocasia because I only pulled 4. I have a couple Maharanis here. These guys are very common. And then I have a bigger heterophylla. Look at that leaf, it's huge. And it just put out a new one here, and it has this one here. But yeah, but see these 3-inch pots, I just feel like they're a little bit too small. Although I like them and the plants, you know, can get rooted, I would like just a little bit of a bigger pot for moisture retention. So I really think the new pots are going to be nice. I just feel like, oh, it's working on a new leaf. I didn't see that. It's right there. So I can't wait to get them in. And I also pulled a Michelitziana. I have so many of these still, so I might pull another one. I was also doing an experiment with alocasia corms. So I start them in stratum, let them sprout, and then sometimes I move them into their separate container, a bigger container of stratum. But I did an experiment where I moved them from stratum to a little bit of pond mix with some stratum and perlite. And they did okay, but I found they grew slower than if I potted them directly into my tree fern substrate, which is interesting because I have 2 bins. Oh, I did take a picture. I'll pop the picture here. So one bin, the plants grew so much faster and they were able to get more nutrients because I was watering them twice a week. Sometimes I usually only feed them once a week, but sometimes they get a little bit extra. But they really took to the tree fern mix and compared to when I had potted some into the pond mix. I was experimenting trying to pot up some plants in like the pond mix semi-hydro, so that way if the person wanted to go directly to semi-hydro, they wouldn't have to reroot the plant or let the plant get some water roots. But yeah, I'm finding I don't like that at all. I don't like doing the pond mix, so I will be potting alocasia. Well, they're going to be going in my new mix now, but yeah, I'm not going to do the pond mix anymore unless it's a really finicky alocasia. Now, I do have a particular couple of alocasia that I find aren't liking the tree fern perlite mix, and so I may still continue to do a semi-hydro mix for a couple of them, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm still kind of experimenting. See, I feel like I need more alocasia. I picked a couple Sorderoy. Look at this leaf. I love how cute this is. So this is from my moss pole, and so the first leaf was here, and this was the second leaf. Look at that jump already. And it is working on another one right here. I'll probably remove this dried caterpillar. I like to clean them up, clean their leaves, remove any dead debris. Sometimes I top layer with a little fresh soil so that it makes them look nice. For their photos, it depends, because this, like I said, the soil on top of the tree fern makes the perlite brown. It like stains it, and sometimes they get algae with the light, so that's why I want to move away from the clear pots. This one has a little bit of a torn leaf. I might cut part of that off, but here's another big leaf on Sorderoy, so I have 2 of those. I pulled a Glorious that's working on a new leaf. It's a pretty big leaf. I pulled an Amedrium. I haven't had one of these in a while, and I don't have that many left. I got rid of my mother plant, so whatever I do have grew back from a wet stick node. I really liked this plant at one point, but it's cool. I love the color. It's like Cebu blue. I pulled a pink princess. This one has grown enough. Now, this isn't part of my batch that I did that I chopped recently. This was from a previous wet stick that had grown, but it's still from my main mother plant and everything, so hopefully it should get some good genetics. So that one I feel like is ready. I have a reverted Syngonium, a variegated one. It's reverted, so I might list this for pretty inexpensive because I don't know if the stem has any more variegation or not. Like, I don't know if the person would want to try chopping it. And then I also pulled some of my seedlings. I'm starting to pot up the rest of them in their separate containers and just selling them. I still have some that, actually, I don't know, I'll have to go through. I might get rid of the 2 that are in the container together, like the 2 seedlings, because a lot of them are getting too big now that I can't really do that. So I might pot the rest of them up individually and sell them like that. And then this is all Hoya that I pulled here. I have a lot of Hoya. Look at this Abuvada. So this is the splash. So my big mother plant I chopped back all the way. And so I potted up the rest of them recently, and a lot of the new ones that I potted up are spitting out peduncles like crazy. But this one is a pretty big leafed one. But look at the new little leaves coming in. It's so cute. So yeah, this one is in a 4-inch. And I have some Polynura, some Lacunosa. I have one Linearis. So I just potted up a new bin of Linearis, and then my previous bin, I'll probably start listing those, trickling those in the next few weeks. And then the newer bin that I potted up will get listed. I'm gonna let those grow since I just potted them up. They need to root. So I'm gonna look at listing the other ones first. Yeah, Lacunosa, I have this one here. I have a couple mint. I have a mint coin. This one is the mint here. I have a couple of the regular green Polynura. I feel like I don't have the best selection this week, but some weeks are like that. I don't feel like enough plants are ready, so it's like a smaller restock, and then the following week as plants grow, I feel like some weeks I have a lot and some like are a really nice selection. Other weeks are just kind of eh. So that's kind of how I feel this week. I feel like it's a in-between week. Okie dokie, I am getting them labeled and their leaves cleaned. So that's the label, Monster Elbow, and then I put a little sticker with a number. So that one's ready for photos. And I did this one here. So I'm just working on doing the rest. This process takes a while too because I clean their leaves. And I try to like bulk print labels so that I don't have to like print so many each time, but sometimes I don't always have what I need, so then I have to print them. Yeah, when you have like 40, 50 plants, it just takes a while to label them and everything. I prefer not to label them when I make them. I prefer to do it when I restock, because sometimes I'll pot a plant up. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes a plant just doesn't do well and I have to get rid of it, discard it. So if it doesn't do well, then I just, I reuse the pot and everything, and then I'd have to peel the label off. So I'd rather just do it at the end. So otherwise, so pretty. But this one here needs, and then I do a label as well. So I label the pot and then I make an extra label. A lot of labels. So I clean their leaves before photos, and then I'll clean them again prior to shipping, just to make sure that the leaves are nice and clean. She is pretty. 2 Maharanis. Do I have a Maharani? I don't think I do. Two. Two. Okay, 1 and 2. Did you hear Chai? You sleepy, Chai? I feel like it's clouding up. I feel like it's going to rain. I think it's forecasted to rain all week, possibly. Storms, hit or miss all week. Yeah, it really is a tedious process to do these all. Ideally, I would kind of like to get all the photos taken today. I just got an Amazon notification that my delivery is delayed again, so my pots will not be here today. So no potting up today. That means I really hope they come tomorrow. Hello, it is the next day. I'm back. I had left my mic off and I already started working, but what I was saying is my pots came, so I'm starting to pot up my pink princess. So I'll just like play some music over potting them up. But this is what they look like. Oh no, 3.5 inch. So I have 2 packs, so I have about 240 pots. So they should last a good while, but I'm still gonna order more. I don't want to run out. So this is the 4 inch and then 3.5 inch. And I like these so much better compared to the 3 inch clear ones I've been using. I'm so excited for these. So yeah, I already love them. I potted up some pink princess already, and yeah, they look so good. I also made some matcha, little afternoon drink while I pot up. I'm probably going to be potting up for a few hours this evening. I'll do some with you and then I'll probably do some off camera. And then tomorrow I'm going to be potting up as well, but tomorrow is just in my own time. I'm going to finish up this video this evening and I'm going to go through and water, and I might pick a few more plants for the restock. And then I'm also going to edit and work on the listings as well in the next couple of days. So I have a lot to keep me busy. But yeah, I'm really excited that the pots are here and I can finally pot up some plants. Oh, did you just hear that? It thundered. It is getting ready to storm. But I'm going to go ahead and get the camera set back up. I forgot my water to water the plants. So I'm going to grab that and we'll finish potting up the pink princess and see what else we will pot up for today. I legit had to quit filming. It got so dark. Such a bad thunderstorm passed through. It was like 30 minutes of chaos. The water was coming down so fast, it was like wanting to flood out front. It was craziness. And the poor kitties were just scared to death. So I've been potting up the rest of the pink princess, and they're so cute. I love them. I do have some that I'm not going to pot up yet. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's probably anywhere from like 10 to 15 little wet sticks still. I'm going to let them continue to grow under higher humidity under this little dome. And here's all the pink princess that I potted up. They are so pretty, especially the ones that have a lot of pink, of course. So they're all from the same genetics. So if you want more pink on your pink princess, if it's genetically within the plant, then it can come out more with increased light. So just FYI, if you have a plant and it's known to have like really good genetics, if you don't have a very good specimen and the genetics is poor, then it's not likely going to matter how much light you give it. Just from my experience with my own pink princess, when I give it more light, the pink comes out a lot more. I love this one because there's a half moon leaf. I love these two here. I love this pink leaf, that one. I love this half moon here. I love that one. There's so many good ones. This one here is beautiful. So these probably won't be ready for a while because I'm going to let them root up and stabilize and grow a little bit more. Some are obviously bigger, like this one's bigger, this one. So those will probably root and grow faster. So once I feel like some of them are ready, I'll probably pull and add some to the restock. And you know, the ones that are still a bit small, like all these that are still in there, it'll be a while. But some of these I potted up are kind of small, like this one. So they're gonna need a lot more time to grow. And I really like the pots for sure. So I have to figure out where I'm gonna put these. Ideally, I want them in the bins. I do need to probably get one more set, but the issue I have is space. I am limited on space. Even though I got 2 more plant shelves to put in here, I used up the space just like that. It's crazy. So honestly, I might go ahead and call it for the video. Potting up is pretty much the same process, and if they're coming from moss, I pot them up this way. If the plant's been under higher humidity, I just have to make sure to provide it more humidity. If they're coming like alocasia, if they're coming from stratum, I usually will rinse the roots and everything just to make sure most of the stratum is off. Same with coming from perlite. But I pretty much follow the same process for all these. For all of you that follow along with my shop and who buy from me, I truly am so appreciative, and I love doing this and growing out all these little plants. It just makes me the happiest, like all of my little pink princess babies. And it brings me so much joy. I love like growing healthy plants for people and knowing that they're well cared for. I am paranoid about pests. I just really want people to be happy with the plants that they're getting, and if I can be a source for somebody to get plants from, that makes me so happy. So again, thank you so much for all of your support. And if you have any questions about anything, any of the changes, let me know down below in the comments. Now I am probably going to pick a few more plants, like I said, for the restock. So I don't have as many as I would like, so I'll probably do that tomorrow and do my listings. Thank you again so much for your support. I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you soon.